To start our journey into digital services, I first wanted to pay attention to the OECD principles. The OECD has made some international VAT and GST guidelines, and for services, they give some rules for the road for tax authorities and governments around the world to deal with VAT and GST collection on electronically supplied services, specifically, and services in general. One of the starting points there is fiscal neutrality. VAT should not be a burden for taxable businesses. They should be able to roll forward the VAT to the final consumer, which is the first principle when it comes to fiscal neutrality. Also, it must be the case that businesses dealing with the same type of transactions, they should be taxed in the same manner. So whether you are based in a country or you're supplying a service from outside the country, it should not matter. You should be treated the same. And on top of that, the VAT rules that are implemented in a country, they should not influence business decisions, because that would not be neutral. And lastly, we want to avoid that companies incur irrecoverable VAT. So also there you have to take into account. Now, when it comes to the place of supply rule, the OECD has also some additional guidance there, and that is on the place of supply of services. So the OECD says that B2B and B2C services should be taxed in the country of consumption. Well, that is easier said than done, because you have to determine first where the customer is. And when it comes to businesses, they may have multiple locations. So where you look for then is the location where the customer is based or consumes the service. When it comes to physically performed services like repairs, if you drive in another country and your car breaks down, you want to have it repaired there, it will also be taxable there. The same applies to events, concerts, business events. They will be taxable where they are occurring. And then the following category, if you look on the slide, the one on remote services, that is the main topic for today: electronically supplied services, other services that are supplied remotely, so not requiring a local activity or a local presence to deliver the service. And the last category is immovable property, which is generally taxed where the immovable property is located. So if a painter goes to another country to paint a house, then in most jurisdictions, it will also be taxable in that location. So these are the general principles provided by the OECD for services. Now, the main category, the remote services that are taxed in B2C situations where they are consumed by the consumer. Consultancy, accounting, and legal, that is, of course, less commonly provided cross-border. That is generally a local thing, especially in the B2C area. The same with financial and insurance services. But then the real fun starts: telecommunication and broadcasting, software provision, and other electronically provided services like digital content, digital data storage, and gaming are typically services for which more and more countries have started a non-resident VAT collection system.